You're tuned in to the world of Tom, where you catch all the facts and stay connected with Tom Lane.
Program.
Well, I know a lot of times.
Look at you! You look all cute. Okay.
They're going to be held accountable for that too. So, because what I want to do is support my officers, okay? But I also want them to do the job I'm asking them to do. You go out there and you do your job, you do it right, and then I can support you. But if you're not going to do that, don't expect me to support you. You know, I mean, because of conduct that we have to have as officers. That, and just be frank, there's in my years of working under Drew and doing internal investigations on officers, that hasn't always occurred. And you know, we're people, I guess is what I should say, and we can make mistakes. In my career, I've made mistakes. Okay, I've been disciplined in my career. I can say that. And I think the thing is that the discipline that we have at the department, assuming it's not just outrageous activity, is designed to correct the behavior. It would be the same as if somebody gets pulled over and they get a ticket for speeding. That ticket's designed to correct the behavior. You know, you might be able to correct the behavior with a warning. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might need a ticket. If it's just 120 miles an hour, you might need to arrest them. You know what I mean? It just depends how outrageous it is. And our conduct at DPS is it's a lot like that. You know, now some of it's minor conduct issues, minor over time. If it's time and time and time again builds up, we have a progressive discipline policy. But I want to tell you what happens because of the lack of trust. People believe that it's not going to be investigated. So when they see misconduct, they won't report it. And so officers know if there is an officer doing misconduct and if he knows it's probably not going to be reported, he's more emboldened to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, these guys know me, and these girls that work here, they know that if I know that I'm going to look into it. And we have a lot of supervisors, not just me, we have a lot of supervisors like that. Keep in mind that an officer doing misconduct is not going to do it with their supervisor standing around normally. That's not normal. So, and a lot of times they go out on their own, and you know, we trust them to do this and do that. And if there's a problem, it's so important that the citizen report it. I guess what I'm saying is, even if that we don't agree and it happens again, still report it, you know, but so we can look into it. I mean, and I'm going to say again, the majority of we have great officers working here, but you know, we're human. I mean, and people get frustrated and they get upset. And
how can the community better support you guys? But how can they also be able to communicate some ideas on how to bridge that gap in between you guys?
Well, I would say, let me say as far as, because we're going to really start pushing this. I've been talking about it for a long time, but we're going to heavily push officers trying to talk to African Americans in the community, really white people too. I mean, because it's Sikeston. You know, we really need that interaction in all parts of the community. Mm-hmm. If you have an officer approach you and is just trying to talk with you, you know, and maybe you've had some bad experiences in the past, give them the benefit of the doubt, give them a shot, and don't just slam the door in their face, because we're trying to make an effort here. And I'm just saying, this kind of thing has been going on longer than I've been alive. You know what I mean? There's been race issues, and there's been unfair treatment for a long time. And the America's made a lot of progress, but it's still here, you know. So I know that I'm not going to solve the race issue in America. I know that. It doesn't mean that we can't make things better and that we're not going to try, you know, and that's really what I want to do. So I would, to answer your question, I would say we're going to have, my dad always tells me that a relationship is a two-way street. And I keep saying that because we're going to make this effort, but if it's not received, it won't happen. You know what I mean? And some people won't, and we know that some people have had their mind made up about an experience they had with an officer some time ago, or maybe an experience they had with an officer that still works with us. what I want to say about that is don't treat that experience you had with that one officer and take that and say, well, this other officer's the same way. I mean, we're all individuals, you know. I mean, it's like Martin Luther King talking about treating people based on the content of their character. I mean, just like this officer in Minneapolis and what he did, there's nobody that's a decent officer condone that behavior, and it's appalling. But we all get lumped in the same group, and
Right.
it's not fair. But I kind of understand it because we all wear the uniform. You know what I mean?
But
And,
it's a reflection. That's the same thing we going through. I mean,
right.
y'all
It is
have a profiling,
Yeah.
y'all have a stereotype,
Right.
and that's the stereotype that we're trying to
Yeah.
push against, so that way it can dissipate, and we don't have that against us. So like you said, it's coming to a common ground in an understanding. So, I mean, is there anything that you want to say that maybe you didn't say last night before we go?
Well, you know, I'm really hopeful. You know, at the end of the meeting last night, part of me was afraid we was going to do this and nobody was going to show up, and so many people showed up. You know what? And I'm going to tell you, I know it was a little intimidating because I know when I'm you know, admitting that we need to make some improvements, that some people are ready and maybe even prejudge and about, are we really being honest about that, or are we just trying to put it on a show for media or something like that? And I know it's intimidating, but I was really happy that people showed up. And you know, some of the people in the crowd I knew, some of them I didn't. But what I learned from that is that there's people in the African American community that wants to improve the community, and that's what I want. That's what we want, and it's going to be, if we can do that, if we can find people that has that goal and can sit down and we can discuss these problems and they can point out what we're doing wrong, I'm going to listen to them.
I would like for you to tell us what we can do to help you out with the case dealing with the 7 people who were shot recently.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do something about that. So
yeah, you know, that's if that does not exemplify how we need to work together, I don't know what does. Anybody that would shoot into a crowd of people just indiscriminately like that, I just don't understand that. You know, we've got to really work and build that relationship so we can get information on cases like that, because we're having such a hard time. I mean, people are not coming forward, and I'm sure they're afraid, and I understand that. And but we've got to find a way to solve that case and other cases like it. You know, and you know, without people coming forward and telling us what they know, we really need people who were at the party to tell us what they saw. I mean, because we're not going to be able to solve it just from somebody whispering a name to us. But whoever is at the party that saw the car or saw or know the people or knows who knows, you know, can get us that information so we can go talk to them. We really need that information. I mean, you know, without it, I don't know that we're going to be able to solve the case. And it's frustrating. You know, it's frustrating for officers. I know people say we don't care, and that's not true. We do care. I care about that. You know, when you go to a scene and you see somebody brutally murdered, you don't go home at night and just forget about that. It bothers you. It bothers you. And I don't care what color their skin is or anything like that. It's a human being that's been murdered for no reason. And, you know, I got into this job to help people. And when I can't get that done, it's tough. I mean, it's tough to deal with. I had a lady tell me not too long ago, and she said, well, you've worked there so long, you should be over all this criticism and not being able to solve these cases. And I said, ma'am, you know, that ain't how it works. You know, I'm going to tell you, if it didn't bother me, I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, if it didn't bother me, I shouldn't be here. You know, work together to make some progress. Now, we're not going to fix the issues. You know, I just want to build that communication so we can work through these issues. I mean, just to have, have some betterment, is what I want.
Yes.
But,
that's understood. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it too, because you give me a chance to get our message out, and Channel 12, or nothing against them, they're great people, but they give you about 7 seconds to say something, and I want to say so much more, and you give me the opportunity to do that. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
I mean, I'd be happy to do it.
Yeah, and let me know how I can help you guys get the word out, get people involved, how I can encourage it. Let me know so we can keep working together. But I appreciate it.
Hi everyone, it's your guy Lakeven with the Cake Room and Divinity Massage and Bodywork, and I am a proud supporter of In the World of Tom, where Tom Lane brings you the facts first.
Every Thursday with Tom Lane.